And you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or link us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have two ears and one mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Yes, both sides of the story.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. It is right, it should be so. Man was made for joy and woe. And when this we rightly know, through the world we safely go. Joy and woe are woven fine, a clothing for the soul divine. Under every grief and pine runs a joy with silken twine. The strongest poison ever known came from Caesar's laurel crown. Naught can deform the human race, like to the armor's iron brace. Every night and every morn, some to misery are born. Every morn and every night, some are born to sweet delight. Some are born to sweet delight. Some are born to endless night. God appears and God is light to those poor souls who dwell in night, but does a human form display to those who dwell in realms of day.
One child that's born in peace, one babe that knows no war. That's what we live to see. That's what we're praying for. A healthy and a happy one, born with no misery. A child that's so full of fun and just as free as he wants to be. And we'll give him peace with all we can give. And we'll give him all with each day we live. And our dream will be, this world will see one child of love. One child of love. Love that is deep and true makes life so precious too. And when love means more with time, we'll conquer all. And we'll make each climb. And all we want is a healthy one, born with no misery. A child that's so full of love and just as free as he wants to be. And we'll give him peace with all we can give. And we'll give him hope with each day we live. And our dream will be, this world will see one child of love. Let it be, yeah. Let it be. One child that's born. One baby that knows no wrong. That's what we live. That's what we live to see. What we live to see. That's what we're praying. That's what we're praying for. A healthy Lord, a happy one, born with no misery. A child that's so full of love and just as free as he wants to be. And we'll give him peace with all we can give. And we'll give him hope with each day we live. And our dream will be, this world will see one child of love. Yes, sir. One child of love. One child that's born in peace. One babe that knows no war.
2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 20th day of the 7th month of 2021, the International Year of Peace and Trust, the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables, the International Year for the Elimination of Child Labor, and the International Year of Health and Care Workers. Put another way, it's the 20th day of the second month of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. And according to the weather report, there's a high pressure ridge across the Gulf of Mexico, and a high pressure ridge is expected to build across Jamaica. There's a low level jet stream across the Central Caribbean. A low level jet stream, as we've shared before, is a narrow band of fast flowing wind to be found in the lower levels of the atmosphere. So you're really feeling it. It's closer to you, right? That you will feel it, essentially, as opposed to it being high up in the stratosphere or elsewhere. It's a little closer. Look for isolated showers and thunderstorms across hilly areas and western parishes, partly cloudy elsewhere, windy especially across southern parishes. Tonight, mainly fair, and also, as we said, some windy conditions across southern parishes. The birthday of Crown Prince Haakon is being celebrated in Norway. It's Independence Day in Colombia, Moon Day in the USA, Peace and Freedom Day in the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, a special holiday in Renbel Province in the Solomon Islands, and St. Elijah's Day in Bulgaria. It's National Nurses Week here in Jamaica. Hoy es martes el 20 de julio 2021. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes, desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est mardi le 20 juillet 2021 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutent, que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service pour une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
And our dream will be, this world will see, one child of love.
All we're saying is it's Tuesday, the 20th of July, 2021, and we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices, and that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
That's so full of love and just as free as he wants to be, and we'll give him peace with all we can.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
Hello, Jamaica. I am Death. Thank you for the great job sending me so many souls. Pedestrians, please continue staring at your phones while on the road, walking on the left when there's no sidewalk. At night, you've exceeded my expectations and my quota. Ward off death. Obey the road code. A message from the Road Safety Unit.
Your taxis hold the key.
Nobody come in line. Pay your taxes online.
So many options. You choose. Pay online at jamaicatax.gov.jm, TAJ mobile app, direct funds transfer, and NCB online banking.
It's safe, convenient, and secure.
Tax Administration Jamaica, changing the way we do business.
Give him peace with all we can give, and we'll give him hope with each day we live. And our dream will be this world, one child of love. Yes, sir. One child of love.
We started out this afternoon with the edited version of The Auguries of Innocence by William Blake. It's quite an epistle. We got some inspiration one day and decided to edit it to the point where we could present it within a reasonable time without losing the essence of the poem, The Auguries of Innocence by William Blake. And then we followed that with this timeless recording by Peaches and Herb, One Child of Love. Just a reminder that that's exactly what we need to continue to feed ourselves and our children. Love. Love. That's really what we need. Love. We're still hurting after yet another waste of a life, a 4-year-old. The information from the police so far, as we shared yesterday, the 4-year-old supposedly, well, not feeling so well, and therefore just a little reluctant to eat whatever food was provided. So apparently, on the face of it, based on the information that the police has provided to the public, the stepfather of the child proceeded to beat the child to get the child to eat faster. The child was subsequently taken to hospital. Child died. And the investigation has intensified. What a waste of a life. The poor child has hardly lived any life. There's a tendency, and we have talked about it over the years. Now, yes, depending on the age of the child, you expect the child to be able to understand certain things. But let's just remember that they're still children. So you take, for whatever reason, you take the child with you. Let's say you take the child with you to, I don't know, to the bank, to the supermarket, wherever. You expect, for example, in the bank, for the child to, and we know we're in different times now. This is the time of COVID-19. So even more so, our movement is supposed to be restricted. But the point is, we cannot expect children to behave like adults. Never mind the fact that every day, as my late mother would say, every day that God sent, adults behave like children when they're ready, more often than not. But for us to expect children to behave like adults is just not on. It's just not on. And there's a tendency for us to expect adult behavior from children. It's just not on. It's really not on. I know we live in an age now where you nyam and scram, to put it in Jamaican terms, and everybody's in a hurry. So people are hurriedly eating and hurriedly doing this and hurriedly doing that, and the food is not being properly chewed as it should be, and also the food is not being digested as it should be, and all of those other things, which, if we're not careful, could come back to haunt us at some point or another. Food is not, and we all know how children are. They will all, again, depending on the age, the age group, but for the most part, they play with the food. They talk in between bites, and they fool around and so on and so forth. They're children. They're children. Yes, we must try our best to guide them, mold them, shape them, just like the potter, as we like to say. These children are like that. A child is like a lump of clay that the potter takes and put on the potter's wheel. And the potter applies, I would imagine, some water and whatever else they use. And the potter's wheel is spinning, and the potter is using his hands to mold and shape this lump of clay into a fine piece of ceramic. Well, that's the idea with our children, except that they have or are supposed to have potters, parents, guardians, community members, family in general, community, the church, the school, the state, the media, the business community. All of these are supposed to be agents of socialization, various agents of socialization, but they don't always function as they should for whatever reason. And that's why you're always supposed to have, if you have enough support, then the impact of the fallout from one agency or one agent of socialization would be cushioned by the effectiveness of others, etc. And so that's really our duty to the children. We have to mold them, shape them, encourage them, empower them, feed them, guide them, teach them, play with them, the whole works. But this business of, as we say in Jamaica, murderation, everything is murderation for the children. And what we do is to create, we increase the level of trauma in the lives of these children. So as we have said for years on this program, it's trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma. So we have a lot of traumatized children in this country, and ultimately a lot of traumatized people. And as the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. And a lot of that continues in this country. We have to do better. I have the privilege of being in certain places to observe. I love to observe people. And this morning I was watching as parents, guardians, caregivers were dropping off their children. Fathers, yes, we saw the fathers. The fathers were out in numbers. Fathers, obviously the mothers, but the fathers were out. And just to watch the interactions between them and their children, it was a mixed bag, actually. A mixed bag, but for the most part, you could see that love. And one instance, the father, tall man, sort of leaned over and allowed his son to kiss him in front of everybody. I know in Jamaica, we know we have this. I don't know. We need to get back to that point. Actually, that's that fatherly love. That fatherly love that we create all kinds of straw men, so to speak, in this country when it comes on to why we, big man not do them thing, man. It just, the youth for grow tough and rough, and no, they just need to be socialized. not about growing them tough and rough, and no. But we're encouraged this morning just watching parents and guardians and caregivers bringing in the children. And one thing that is common when you look at the children, they are just so filled with hope and purpose. You look at them, you can see it in their eyes. And unfortunately, we as adults, we are the ones who tend to dim that light that we see coming through the eyes of these bright children. We are the ones. We corrupt them, and they lose their innocence, and all hell breaks loose after that. But there is hope. We're always hopeful when we encounter these engagements, just to watch the interaction between parents, guardians, caregivers, and the children. They want to learn. You can see it. You watch them stepping onto the school compound and walking up. And these are at the early childhood level from the early childhood level to the primary school level, early childhood to primary school, that general cohort. And it's the same energy you saw. And all that needs to happen is for us to protect them, to care for them, to mold them, to help to mold and shape and guide and guard and protect them, so that they grow up to become, well, even before they get to adulthood, they learn the importance of, they have that sense of purpose of being a VIP. As I like to tell the children, you are VIPs. Every single one of you. There's only one of you, only one. There has never been another one like you in the world, in the history of the world. There is none like you right now in the world, and there will never be another one like you in time to come. That's how we must empower our children and stop abusing them. They have had enough. They have had enough. Please, no more. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Seeing a WhatsApp call here from, is this Chrisanne? Not sure. Let's find out. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Is it Chrisanne? Is that you?
Yes, Mr. Malcolm.
Thank you very much for calling. Well, why did you decide to call us this afternoon? What's on your mind?
I wanted to tell all of you about the exam, how it was.
Which one? The PEP exam?
Yes, sir.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, it was a little bit challenging at the maths part, but the language arts was okay. It wasn't as hard as the test that they normally give us in the classes. That is why the students were so afraid, because the tests that we get in the classes are really hard, and you still have to work hard. So the PEP exam, as I was telling you about earlier, it was not hard because we learned much on the online classes, because I was there every day. But for some students, it was a little challenging because most of them didn't get to go to the classes, but I got my chance and I did my best, and it was okay because I learned all that I could, and it was everything that we learned in the class. So I got good marks and I passed for a good school as well.
Which school will you be going to?
I will be going to Westwood High.
Oh my goodness. Well done. Well done. Hold the line, Chrisanne. Let's take the break. Congratulations.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. The following hurricane tip is brought to you by Axia Jamaica Insurance Agency. Check the status of the roof and strengthen where possible by installing storm straps, nail down zinc, replace damaged zinc, and roofing tiles.
Hey, you see, these days, it's good to get straight to the point. Quick and easy. That's why Western Union gives you another way to receive money straight to your bank account with Western Union's direct-to-bank money transfer. Visit a Western Union agent location and sign up now, and tell your family and friends to send your next Western Union money transfer directly to your bank account in Jamaica. It's easy. Visit a Western Union location or call our call center at 876-926-2454. Sign up today to receive a money transfer directly to your bank account with ease. With Western Union, moving money for better.
Dip into fun and flavor with any pack of Oreo. Send 5 wrappers with expiration dates no earlier than May 17 for a chance to win a weekend for a family of 4 and all-inclusive, $150,000 cash, or a 40-inch smart TV. 3 ways to enter. Upload information to the Oreo link. More fun, more flavor with Oreo.com/promotion. Or mail wrappers to More Fun, More Flavor with Oreo promotion. PO Box 2000 CSO. Or drop in boxes in participating stores with wrappers and contact information from May 17 to July 9. Enjoy the flavor and get ready for the grand draw July 23. Let's win with Oreo. Authorized on the second 58 of the Budget Name and Notice Act.
With all we can give, and we'll give him all. With each day we live, and our dream will be, this world will see one child of love. One child as deep and true.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We could call it an early edition of Kids Connect. Oh, what a joy to hear from Chrisanne. For those of you who listen to this program, you would have heard Chrisanne on this program maybe at least time flies, maybe a couple of months ago, and we were talking about the exams, the abilities test, I think it was, and whatever else having to do with PEP. And just in that conversation, and I think we had spoke with Chrisanne some time ago before that last time as well, and we were wishing her all the best in her exams, in whatever component of it was presented this year, considering the changes due to COVID-19. But she has done well, and she will be attending Westwood High School, which do you know that we have something in common there, Chrisanne? I wonder if you could figure that out.
I'm not sure. Could you tell me?
Sure, I will tell you. Westwood High School is the sister school to Calabar High School. A lot of people don't know that. Westwood High School is sister school to Calabar High School. So that's the connection through the Baptist Church, actually. And Calabar has its origins in the parish of Trelawney. In fact, to this day, there's a place in Trelawney called Calabar. That's where that group of slaves that was brought to Jamaica from the place in Nigeria called Calabar. It's a port city in Nigeria. When they were brought to near Rio Bueno in Trelawney, they thought the place looked just like Calabar in Nigeria. So they kept saying Calabar, Calabar. And they ended up calling that place in Trelawney Calabar, which, as we said, to this day is still called Calabar. So there's the connection between my old school, Calabar High School, and your brand new school, Westwood High School, Chrisanne.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Right. So then what about your schoolmates, your classmates? How did they do in their PEP exam?
Well, most of them chose Ferncourt and St. Hilda's High.
Yes.
And I was the only one who went to Westwood. Most of them went to St. Hilda's, York Castle, and Ferncourt. And some of them went to Ocherios High. Some went to Marcus Garvey High, and think Stairtown Academy, I think some of them went. About 2 of them or so.
Yes.
I'm not really sure.
Well, those are all good schools. I'm thinking of, I know the principal of Marcus Garvey High School very well from her days when she used to be in Portland. And I from all indications, she's been doing remarkable things at Marcus Garvey High School. I'm talking about Aniona. I can't remember her married name right now, but we knew her as Aniona Hunter. And the point I'm making is all the schools you have listed have actually been doing well. And it's just another reminder that we grow wherever we are planted. We don't always get the school of our choice, but a lot of these so-called traditional high schools that we have in Jamaica didn't become traditional high schools overnight. In fact, when you read the history of the schools in Jamaica, you'd find that people didn't think too much of them, or they thought very little of them when they just started. But what happened? Students like you, Chrisanne, you attend these schools, you do well academically, and the school develops a tradition in academics. That's one area. That's one way in which a school becomes a traditional high school. Let's say you get involved in sports and the school does well, whatever the sport is, netball, basketball, cricket, football, you develop a tradition of excellence in those areas, and your school is a traditional high school. Or you develop a tradition of excellence in maybe competing in mathematics competitions, for example, mathematics events, or competing in schools challenge quiz, or all together sing, or the JPS, where the JPS used to have their science and technology expo. Such a tragedy that that is no longer happening. But the students, for example, Westwood, where you will be attending, Chrisann, they invented a special kind, a solar hair dryer, a solar powered hair dryer that was created by a group of students from Westwood High School in the JPS Science and Technology Expo some years ago. So this is your time, Chrisann, to create your own history and to make your mark at Westwood, and by extension on the parish of Trelawney, and by extension Jamaica, and by extension the region, and by extension the world.
Yes, sir, I want to thank you as well. And I just want to wish all of the graduates that passed for the schools of their choice good luck, and some who didn't. But some of them were placed at the nearest high school because of their grade as well, and some of them just did not do well in both exams. So I just want to wish everyone good luck, and I hope you guys will one day invent something or get something that makes you happy, which will lead to something good in life.
Well said, Chrisann, and we hope you won't leave us. We hope you'll keep calling us from time to time and updating us. We love to hear from you. All right, so we look forward to hearing from you again, Chrisann. All the best.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye. That's one of our regular listeners here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. We just love those before and after stories. Just the fact that when you listen to a student like Chrisann, you get a sense of one who is focused, one who is thoughtful, one who has a sense of purpose, and one who is disciplined. And we wish her all the best, and all the other students. We're happy to have had that conversation with her before the portion or the component of the PEP exams that the students would have sat. And coming out of that conversation to what we're hearing now, we're so happy for Chrisann and all the other students. As we said, it's not your fault necessarily that you have been placed at a school that perhaps is short on certain resources to give you the kind of schooling that would make you into the kind of global citizen you'd like to become. It's not your fault, children. If we had more visionaries in the field of education and in other areas, but more specifically, just tracking the growth and the projected growth of our population, tracking the growing interest, well, the growing population, first of all, and depending on where the school is located, chances are that's where the population will gravitate towards. And so we needed some forward thinking to expand as many of our so-called traditional high schools as possible, because clearly they have something going and there's a lot we can learn from them. We know that the Ministry of Education some time ago introduced a system where sort of like an exchange program where students from schools that are having schools that have to give even more in terms of their output for the students, because the students that some of these schools get are students who need a little more time, a little more work, a little more encouragement, a little more empowerment. And therefore, therefore it takes a little more time. But if we were learning as decision makers, we would have long expanded Westwood High School. We would have long expanded Monroe College. We would have long expanded Woolmer's Boys and Woolmer's Girls. We would have long expanded Immaculate Conception High School, Campion College, Kingston College, St. George's College, Alpha Academy, St. Hugh's High School, Calabar High School, Meadowbrook High School, Arden High School, and we could go on and on and on. In other words, let's not fight it. If these are the schools that students are gravitating towards in significant numbers to the point where you have to be turning back students, then let us build capacity at these institutions, and let us further build out that program of mentorship where, in a manner of speaking, a school of tried, tested, and proven excellence gets to mentor a school that is in the developmental stage in terms of their academic achievements. So it obviously is multifaceted, but by all means, expand the existing so-called traditional high schools and give the support that is necessary to the so-called new schools. Give the support that is necessary to these new schools, and also audit, evaluate, analyze, and transform existing educational institutions whose output is less than it should be or could be. A lot to talk about there. Well, let's keep it rolling. Here's Glenn calling us on the text line, 876-365-3346, same as the WhatsApp number. Good afternoon, Glenn.
Yes, good afternoon. I'd like to comment a bit on the ill treatment of children.
Please do.
It can be said that arrogance and ignorance can spoil any dance.
Arrogance and ignorance can spoil any dance.
Yes.
That makes
No,
sense.
but people need to understand that children eat at different rates.
Hold it. Let's continue that discussion right after this break. One moment, please, Glenn.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Introducing another finalist in the Jamaica Festival Song 2021 competition.
Greetings. I am Luton Fire. My song we call Jamaica. Blessed.
Country. Six of them a man and one of them a lady. I see Jamaica. Everybody want come again. Jamaica. Worldwide straight from abroad. I see Jamaica.
Now available for download on most digital platforms.
Jamaica. Worldwide straight from abroad. See, that's what.
Yes, Glenn, thanks for holding. Please continue.
Yes, I was saying that arrogance and ignorance can spoil any dance.
Yes.
Yes, so children grow at different rates, eat at different rates, learn at different rates. So it is stupid for parents to be beating them for the speed at which they eat. And it is possible that they have a toothache or a throatache, or the stomach was full from a previous meal. So many things, so many variables are there.
True.
It's possible also that a child knows that he's allergic to a certain food and doesn't want to eat it. There are so many variables. So they need to be patient with the children.
Agreed.
All right, I'm going to end with a quote from, not quite a quote, maybe a paraphrase.
Yes.
Jesus in Matthew 18 says that the children who believe in him, the people offend them, it is better if a millstone were put around their neck and they be cast into the depth of the sea. But people, please don't mess with the children. Jesus will be angry about that.
Amen.
All right, I'm leaving it for now.
Thank you. Thank you for adding your voice to this issue. All the best.
Okay, you're welcome.
Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. You can send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes. You can call us on WhatsApp. That number, once again, 876-365-3346. We're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Skype, Instagram, LinkedIn, BBM, Yahoo Messenger, Tango, WhatsApp, Snapchat, TikTok. Hello to Shines for Life. Shines for Life says, manners at Uncle D. Blessed afternoon, all listeners and viewers. To you too, Shines for Life Law. Audrey Smith in Southampton, England says, afternoon, Dervan and listeners. Listening from a very hot and muggy Southampton. It's 31 degrees, unbearable. Take care, everyone. And stay cool, Audrey Smith. All the best. Quincy Brown in Grand Cayman says, good afternoon, all listeners and viewers. Greetings from Cayman. Wishes for good health, Sir Dervan. Thank you very much. Quincy Brown in Grand Cayman. Dr. Dunn in Skokie, Illinois says, a very special good afternoon to you, Sir Malcolm and Miss Olive, on the very special Milwaukee Bucks Day. That's the NBA. Is that the best of seven? Best of seven series. I think it's 3-2 to Milwaukee right now. So game 6 is this evening. It's a big evening for sports. So we have the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. 3-2 to the Milwaukee Bucks. Game 6 this evening. We also have the Reggae Boys taking on Los Ticos, Costa Rica. I think that's at 6 o'clock this evening. Right now, we have Australia versus West Indies in the first of 3 one-day internationals being played in Bridgetown, Barbados. That is happening right now. Let's see if we can get a quick update on that match. Australia 87 for 2 in the 17th over, make that 89 for 2 in the 18th over just concluded. So 89 for 2 after 18 overs. West Indies versus Australia being played in Bridgetown, Barbados. They have 3 matches, the first taking place right now. Ben McDermott is, let's give you the scorecard. Josh Philippe, although I hear them saying Felipe, I'll have to check that. He was bowled by Hossein for 39. Ben McDermott is not out on 23. Mitchell Marsh was caught by a wicketkeeper and captain. Yeah, he's standing captain. Nicholas Puran off the bowling of I think that's Alzari Joseph. Yes, Alzari Joseph for 20. And Moses Henriquez, 2 not out. And so the Australians are 89 for 2 after 18 of their 15 overs. Let's see how that match plays out. The team, Evan Lewis, Darren Bravo, Shimron Hetmeyer, Jason Mohammed, Nicholas Puran. I beg your pardon, Kyron Pollard is back in his role as captain. So Kyron Pollard is captaining the team. Jason Holder is back as well. Hayden Walsh, Sheldon Cottrell, Alzari Joseph, and Akil Hussain. That's the West Indies team. Let's see how they do. Yeah, it's. I'm going to, as I said the last time I really sat and watched a basketball match, Michael Jordan was playing. That's a long time ago. I'll see. Oh, I'm in trouble. No, I'm teaching this evening. Ouch, ouch! I forgot about that. Our 2 hour session. I don't know. We'll see what I catch after that. Had I remembered, I would have maybe set the DVR to record a couple of these matches. But we wish them all the best. So it is. Thank you, Dr. Dunn, for that reminder. All the best. Barbara Campbell, hello to you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Audrey Smith says it's true, Dervan, such a waste of a life, in reference to what we said about the death of that 4-year-old. Nicola in Mandeville, Manchester, good afternoon to you. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine, welcome. Also, Inez Campbell-Brown in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Inez Campbell-Brown says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and viewers. The book should be thrown at that stepfather if he caused the death of that little baby. My God, man. Sigh, says Inez Campbell-Brown in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Faye Weller says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. Blessed love. What you're saying about children, that's correct. I love children. They're so beautiful. They are. It's the innocence that you see shining through that puts them in a special place. And one would always hope that they'll keep that innocence at least until they get to adulthood. When you get to adulthood and you learn certain other facts of life, and you perhaps shed some of that innocence. But when they lose that innocence early, it's hard to pull them back, quite frankly. And in some cases, they just slide away, as the song says, sliding away. But if they are grounded, even when they go astray, if they are properly grounded, even when they go astray, they're going to find their way back home, as the song says. They're going to come back to their center because they have been solidly grounded. That's important. Paul in Philadelphia, good afternoon to you. Thanks for tuning in. Dr. Dunn in Skokie, Illinois says, congrats to Chrisanne. Wishing you all the best as you navigate throughout the world of academia. Thank you on Chrisanne's behalf, Dr. Dunn in Skokie, Illinois. Sharon Richards says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. Still on board. Hot day in Savlamar. Stay warm in Savannah Lamar. Sharon Richards. Savannah by the sea. Savannah Lamar. Savlamar. Savannah by the sea. Norman Hines says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan, Malcolm, and listeners. Here listening straight out of St. Thomas. Good to have you on board, Norman Hines. Straight out of St. Thomas. Cherry Henry says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. Congratulations to Chrisanne. We accept on her behalf. I love children very much. It's so sad about that child who died. And we like these teachable moments, right, Cherry Henry? Miss Cherry, so here you had that child that died. And we changed that to who? That child who died. Because we're talking about a person, the child who died, the man who built the house, etc., etc. Harlem Uptown says, hi, Dervan. Big up, Harlem. Big up to you, Harlem Uptown. Thank you very much for tuning in and all the very best. And let's see. Arlene Clark says, say congratulations to Chrisanne for me. I knew she would have done well, and she will continue to shine in Jesus' name. Amen. Arlene Clark, thank you very much for your message. All the best. Thank you very much. Harlem Uptown says, what is he saying? It very hot, smoggy in Harlem. Very hot, smoggy in Harlem, says Harlem Uptown from Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland. Well, keep cool, Harlem Uptown. Ranny Bell, welcome. Ranny Bell from St. Thomas. Good day and blessings to you too. Good to have you on board. Thank you very much for tuning in. All the very best. Thank you. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Let's go with, where are we? Let's do this. A quick update on the COVID-19 situation in Jamaica. Yesterday, the country recorded another death. Condolences to the family members, friends, colleagues, neighbors of the deceased. So that brings the death toll now to 1,158. 1,158 people have died from COVID-19 in Jamaica. There were 62 new cases yesterday for a total of 51,282. 3,046 of those are active cases. 2,722 tests. Well, that's a large number. 2,722 tests. Normally you hear about 700 tests, 800, sometimes 1,000. I hear the target is usually 1,000. But of these 2,722 tests, 1,814 are antigen tests. The PCR positivity rate is 6.5%. 100 people are in hospital on account of COVID-19. 25 of them are moderately ill, and 11 are critically ill. For what it's worth, 29 more people have recovered from COVID-19. The total number of recoveries now 46,724. And do we have time for just another quick peek at least one of the stories trending right now? Iconic boxing promoter Keith Brown has passed. Remember him? Used to read sports on TV as well. Condolences to his family, friends, colleagues, neighbors. All the best in this most trying time. There's more after the break.
So full of love and just as free as it wants to be, and we'll give
The Time by Medical Disposables and Supplies Limited, an official distributor of 3M Healthcare Solutions, 83 Hagley Park Road, Kingston 10, is 3 p.m. The following hurricane tip is brought to you by Axia Jamaica Insurance Agency. Check the status of the roof and strengthen where possible by installing storm straps, nail down zinc, replace damaged zinc, and roofing tiles. The preceding hurricane tip was brought to you by Axia Jamaica Insurance Agency.
one child that's born in peace, one babe that knows no war. That's what we live to see. That's what we.
Yet another diplomat's tenure has come to an end. The UK High Commissioner to Jamaica, Asif Ahmad, I feel privileged to have, behind the scenes and otherwise, to have engaged and been in contact and to have met and socialized with these diplomats. And Asif Ahmad is one of them. There was also the Nigerian High Commissioner to Jamaica, wonderful lady, wonderful lady. The European Union representative in Jamaica, the former EU representative in Jamaica, Małgorzata Wasilewska. Yeah, she was another awesome diplomat. Who else? Who else is leaving? I don't know. Well, as far as I know, we still have the same Canadian diplomat. They represent the Canadian High Commissioner. I think still pretty much the same. Who else? Who else? But some really, really special people. They didn't. They're real diplomats. They've been very personable and endearing and warm. Very, very nice people. Happy to have met all of them. They at different functions. The Chinese ambassador, for example, is another one. Did they change or it's the same one? I'm trying to remember. Right, but all warm and wonderful people. Happy to have met them. We wish you well. We wish you well, High Commissioner Ahmad. We wish you well. And all the very best. Let's see. There's some more information here. Oh, we wanted to share with you. If you missed it, I didn't get a chance to watch the blast off this morning. Jeff Bezos, the trillionaire, blasted off today on the first flight of his space travel company with people on board, becoming the second billionaire. You would recall Sir Richard Branson, a couple of weeks ago or so. So Jeff Bezos blasted off today on the first flight of his space travel company with people on board, becoming the second billionaire in just over a week to ride his own rocket. Well, he has a $1 trillion corporation, Amazon, $1 trillion company, but he's of course a billionaire. The Amazon founder zoomed towards space with a hand-picked group. His younger brother, an 18-year-old from the Netherlands, and an 82-year-old aviation pioneer from Texas, the youngest and oldest to ever hurtle off the planet. And there's a significance of the date. In fact, on our list of significant or noteworthy events, let's tell you why today is a significant day for Jeff Bezos to do what he did today. Let's go back to 1969. At 10:56 p.m. Eastern Daytime, on this day in 1969, I'm just wondering about the information here for a moment. If there was by some error that 10:56 p.m. was typed as opposed to 10:56 a.m., if it's Eastern Daytime, it couldn't be p.m. That must be a typo. 1969 at 10:56 a.m. Eastern daytime. On this day in 1969, a ghostly white-clad figure slowly descended a ladder. Reaching the bottom rung, he lowered himself into the bowl-shaped footpad of Eagle, the spindly lunar module of the U.S. Apollo 2 mission. Then he extended his left foot tentatively, as if testing the water in a pool, for he was indeed testing a wholly new environment for man. After a few seconds that only seemed interminable, astronaut Neil Armstrong placed his foot firmly on the fine-grained surface of the moon. You know, somebody actually told us on this program some time ago that all of that was fake. Anyway, let's get back to the story. Neil Armstrong placed his foot firmly on the fine-grained surface of the moon. After a brief pause, the first man on the moon spoke the first words on lunar soil. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Those words forever etched in the annals of history. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Minutes later, Armstrong was joined by Edwin Buzz Aldrin, gaining confidence with every step. The two loped across the barren landscape for a 2 hours 14 minutes, while the TV camera they had set up 50 feet from the Eagle lander transmitted their steps with remarkable clarity to enthralled audience on Earth some 250,000 miles away. Their feat, FEAT, was the crowning moment of the space race in which the US and the then USSR, now known as Russia, carried their Cold War rivalry into the realms of science, and the act of discovery became a proxy for national and economic preeminence. The landing fulfilled slain President John F. Kennedy's challenge to Americans to land a man on the moon by the end of the 1960s. So said, so done. But this act extended beyond the realm of politics. For the first time, man had broken his terrestrial shackles and set his feet on another world. Armstrong's groping foot, said Time magazine, was a symbol of man's determination to step and forever keep stepping toward the unknown. American astronaut Neil Armstrong, 240,000 miles from Earth, speaks these words to more than 1 billion people listening at home. As we said, that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Some more information here. Let's see. Since we're talking about ambassadors and diplomats in general, 1973, U.S. ambassador to Jamaica, Vincent de Roulet. It looks like a French, like he had a French background. So Vincent would actually be Vincent, and his surname, Deroulet, would actually be pronounced de Roulet. So Vincent de Roulet was declared persona non grata. This is U.S. ambassador to Jamaica, 1973. Now, as bad as some people thought Donald Tapia was, he was never declared persona non grata. But this U.S. ambassador to Jamaica, 1973, Vincent de Roulet, was declared persona non grata, and the U.S. government was asked to replace him by Prime Minister Michael Manley. It is reported that he falsely told the U.S. Foreign Relations Subcommittee of Congress that both Manley, as leader of the opposition, and Hugh Shearer, as Prime Minister, had entered into separate private deals with him before the February 1972 general election, giving undertakings that neither would give consideration to the nationalization of the U.S. bauxite and alumina companies operating in Jamaica. What a thing. 1973. And let's go now to 2002. Since coming up in a few days, on Friday, it will be the start of the Olympics. Get ready for that. Bear in mind that Japan is 14 hours ahead of us. 14 hours ahead. So that, what time is it now? It's 11 minutes past 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it means it is 11 minutes past 5 o'clock in the morning. 11 minutes past 5 o'clock Wednesday morning in Japan. The Gleaner reported on this day in 2002 that hosts Jamaica celebrated their first gold at the 9th IAAF Coca-Cola World Junior Championships the previous night, July 19, 2012, when Usain Bolt triumphed in the men's 200 meters final before over 15,000 screaming spectators, including his parents, Wesley and Jennifer Bolt. The long striding 15-year-old strolled away from his rivals to win in 20.61 seconds. This is 2002. This was in the National Stadium when Jamaica hosted the World Junior Championships. I believe so. Yes, I think I did commentary along with Debbie Tyson, who now works with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. She's stationed somewhere in the States, part of one of the liaisons, or a liaison for the farm workers. She used to be on Power 106 FM. That was 2002, yeah. Usain Bolt. And, right. And then 2003, Usain Bolt equaled the 200-meter world junior record when he won the event in 20.13 seconds at the Pan American Junior Track and Field Championship at the National Stadium in Bridgetown, Barbados. Bolt sped away from his rivals to equal Roy Martin's 1985 world mark while adding the Pan Am Junior title to the World Junior Under-20 and World Youth Under-18 titles he already held over the distance. On this day in 2005, Hurricane Emily made landfall near San Fernando in Tamaulipas. The storm had sustained winds of 125 miles or 200 kilometers per hour, category 3 on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale. After heading inland over northeast Mexico, it dissipated over the Sierra Madre Oriental on July 21. Let's continue to hope and pray that we don't, or the region doesn't feel the impact of any significant impact of whatever storm systems that have been predicted or projected to be a part of this active season. We hope not. But in the meantime, let's prepare, because proper preparation prevents poor performance.
No misery, a child that's so full of fun and just as free as he wants to be, and we'll give him.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
Jamaicans and donors at home and abroad. The Jamaica Customs Agency is cognizant that the speedy clearance of humanitarian aid in times of disaster is crucial. Join us and other border regulatory agencies for a virtual public forum in our CCC series. Click, connect, and converse with Customs Thursday, July 29, 2021 from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. under the theme JCA and BRAs, facilitating efficient and effective clearance during national disasters. That's a virtual public forum on clearing humanitarian aid Thursday, July 29 from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Visit www.jacustoms.gov.jm to register and to participate. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Dr. Dunn in Skokie, Illinois says, it is quite a spectacle here in the Deer District of Milwaukee, an arena that has been created outside of the stadium to hold 20,000 fans. Since Game 5, it has been expanded to allow more than 65,000 fans. This is quite an extravaganza, says Dr. Dunn in Skokie, Illinois. And many cities around the league are replicating it. It's a model city for the NBA brand. It has been 50 years since the Bucks won their last. And what? I didn't realize that. It has been 50 years since the Bucks won their last NBA title, hence the excitement. It is a great day to be in Milwaukee. So Dr. Dunn is in Milwaukee then. She says the weather is perfect at the Deer District that is located near Lake Michigan. I'm going to send you and Miss Olive some beer and cheese. Well, I'll have to pass the beer to somebody else. I don't do alcohol, Miss Olive. Beer and cheese. I'll take the cheese actually, which is unique to Wisconsin. Smile, blessings, says Dr. Dunn. Thank you very much, Dr. Dunn, for those nuggets of information. Thank you. Harlem Uptown says the air quality is really bad today, and that's in Harlem, in New York. Jennifer Stewart from Q Road in Kencott, in East Central St. Andrew, says good afternoon to you too, Jennifer. Miss Cherry says, thanks, Mr. Dervan, for the correction. Always happy. I keep reminding people, and it's something I used to do from I was a child. Whenever I learned something, I would share it with my mother. And if I heard my mother saying the wrong thing, I would correct her. And the beautiful thing about it is that she didn't see herself as being above correction. And that allowed me to develop that confidence to be able to say to people, this is actually not the correct pronunciation, or this is not the appropriate word, etc. So I thank her for allowing me. Even the days when I used to read the newspapers aloud in the house, I would pretend as if I was on radio or on TV reading. And she didn't shut me down. She recognized that something was happening and something would eventually happen out of all of that. Right. And thank you for taking it in good grace, Miss Cherry. Thank you. Harlem Uptown is asking, was Keith Brown on JBC TV? Dervan, he looks familiar. He is in heaven. Yes. Yes, indeed, Harlem Uptown. Keith Brown used to read sports on JBC TV. And we once again convey condolences to his family, friends, colleagues, neighbors, and well-wishers. Harlem Uptown says, Dervan, you need to be live on TVJ and on the radio when you're doing your program. By all means, go ahead and arrange it, Harlem Uptown. And then he says, OMG, Dervan, you don't drink rum? No, I rub up with rum. Back in the day when they used to call it Bay Rum, although it wasn't Bay Rum a brand, as opposed to, I think so. I think it was a brand, Bay Rum. Yeah, so you drop a little in the mole, as my mother would say, and especially if you're coming out of the rain, you got wet, right? And you rub up with some rum, Bay Rum, yeah. So it was mostly used. It was used externally, Harlem Uptown. Externally, not ingested, not swallowed. Thank you very much for your messages. Keep them coming. Rose McIntosh in London, good afternoon to you. And thank you very much for joining us. All the very best. 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. All open to you. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Miss Olive says, hi, Dervan. The government then was not bowing to America. Dervan, you can send me the beer. LOL. Miss Olive, what you doing drinking beer? You're not supposed to be drinking any beer. I'm going to tell your pastor that you're drinking beer. Thank you. Thank you very much for your message. Miss Olive in Portmore, St. Catherine, Jamaica. Other messages coming in. There are a couple of other stories as well that we wanted to update you on. Let's first of all give you an update on the match between West Indies and Australia. Let's see how that is going. The Australians have lost another wicket, but still a fairly steady position. They're 103 for 3 in the 24th over. Australia 103 for 3 in the 24th over. Let's take a look at the scorecard. Josh Philippe was bowled by Akil Hussain for 39. Mitchell Marsh caught wicketkeeper Puran off the bowling of Alzari Joseph for 20. Moses Henriquez was caught by Alzari Joseph off the bowling of Akil Hussain for 7. The batsman at the crease, Ben McDermott, not out on 28, having faced 46 balls, scored 2 fours. The other batsman is Alex Carey, captain and wicketkeeper. And he is 3 not out, having faced 7 deliveries. That's the first of 3 one-day internationals, a day-nighter, between the West Indies and Australia in Bridgetown, Barbados. Let's see how that goes. In the meantime, here is Raskava. Greetings, Raskava.
Yeah, man, give thanks to life, you know. It's all if you need spinach juice, no beer here.
You're going to have to send her some Raskava.
Yeah. But on a sadder note, man.
Yes.
Mr. Keith Brown is at Paston?
Yes, that's the news that broke this morning.
Oh, my. Mr. Brown was my very, very good friend, you know, especially from he was in Alpart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. That year, I can remember the year when I got the gold medal in the Jamaica Festival of Arts at Cape Town State.
What? You're hiding your light under a bushel, man. You got gold medal? What did you do?
Good carving, craft work, man, that time.
Oh, very good.
Hence the name. I got a gold, a silver, 5 bronze, and I got the Alpart trophy for the most original exhibit.
So you've been winning for a long time, Raskava.
Yeah. And I don't know why they cut out that competition anyway, but Mr. Brown was a major force in getting me to even enter that competition.
Yes.
Miss Eslyn Gillins. You know, it is so sad, you know, but I just send on my regret to his family and friends and ones who have known him, you know. And Mr. Brown have a very unique voice that is so demanding and commanding in what he's saying.
Yes.
You know, but it is so sad. And give thanks to poor 106, otherwise I might not have known.
Yeah.
You know? But
I remember, I've never been a fan of boxing. I think I've mentioned before on this program. But I remember Thursday night at the fights. That was a TV program that he hosted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely have so many memories that I have locked away. I have to unearth them now and start living by them again.
Yes.
So,
by all means.
It's a journey that a lot of ones will have to tread.
Of course.
But the mango heat down here, turn up on the heat at the temperature again, make it double heat.
Oh, yes, it is. Man. And it's I don't know, maybe I'm imagining things, I don't know, but I can't remember it being this piercing. You're in the sun and it just feels as if it is right, like somebody's holding one of those yes. Man.
Trust me, man. I tell you, man. And you see how the water at the pipe, man, it come like you boil it.
Yes.
Just if you turn on that and say, I wash your hand or anything, man, it come like you just take it out of the fire.
And you see, I'm a fan of showering in cold water as opposed to wherever in the world I am, as opposed to warm or hot water. And so it was quite unnatural for me to turn on the shower and the water coming out is hot water. I mean, really, really hot.
Even though
and we don't have any heating system. We don't have any water heater at home.
Really, the solar system. But you say the hot water is a therapeutic healing, not really for drinking of such. Even though cold water does not quench your thirst. So some people drink the drinks. It cold till it cramp them forehead.
Well, I actually drink gallons of cold water.
Yeah, room temperature, but not cold.
No, I'm telling you, and not room temperature. From I was a child, and my mother as well. And I used to eat ice. I don't eat ice anymore. I used to just crack the ice with the teeth.
We have some people, man, they beat. You hear them one night I go on up your neighbor yard. I say, man, they tie up in a class, clap it on the door face now. And when you try that and do that, man, you sweat while you drink the ice water.
Yes, true.
It's terrible, man. And it's all because of the ozone layer being destroyed the way it is.
Yes.
But survival is the key, and what one have to do, whatever they have to do to survive.
And the amazing thing about man, if we can call it amazing, it's natural, that man has been made in such a way that anywhere, whatever the season, man adjusts and rolls with the punches, as they say.
Yeah, man. Automatically.
Yeah.
It's surviving skills, and sometimes it's learned automatically. Sometimes it is taught by your parents.
True.
To change gear a little.
All right, let's take the break, and then you can come back at a different speed.
Born with no misery, a child that's so full of love and just as free as he wants to be, and we'll give him peace with all we can.
You contribute directly to Jamaica's national development when you pay your customs duties. Let's all do our part in keeping the wheels of our economy turning. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30.
One child that's born in peace, one day that knows no war. That's what we live to see. That's what we're praying for. A healthy and a happy one, born with no misery. A child that's so full of love and just as free as he wants to be.
Thanks a lot for staying with us on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. It's a Tuesday afternoon, just after 3:30, and that means time for Kids Connect. And bear with us, we're delaying Kids Connect just a bit to allow Rascava to complete making his contribution. Well, not contribution, but his yes.
Is it not normal, as I've asked someplace else, for if there's going to be an election for whatever position in ministries or in government, that the sitting members would have resigned to vacate that seat to make it possible for the new elected?
Hold on, come again. I missed something.
is it not the norm that if you're going to be having an election, whether in a PTA or wherever, the sitting members would have evacuate that seat and make it vacant for the new electees?
Yeah, but you remain the incumbent until a decision is made as to who is going to be the replacement.
So they would not resign. They would just get up out of the seat and leave it. But they would not. They would have to resign that position.
No, if it's time for the election, it's time for the election. So they would decide whether they're going to run again or whether the constitution of the organization allows them to run again, or whether they'll just allow the process to take its course. An election is called, and you do what needs to be done. If you're seeking re-election, then you're nominated, and the voters make their decision.
So the four stalwarts, that is so-called stalwarts from the PNP that has resigned just prior to the internal election.
Yeah.
That's normal.
That what?
That is not normal?
It was a most dramatic. It was a most dramatic gesture. They obviously wanted to send a message for them to do it the way they did. They were obviously sending a message.
To say that they are not interested in that position anymore.
And perhaps they're not happy with some of the behind-the-scenes discussions, agreements, arrangements, plans, which may or may not have materialized, and which would have frustrated them or caused them to feel disrespected. And so that was their way of sending a strong message to the leadership of the party.
Okay, so give thanks for clarity.
Right. Thank you for the call. All the best. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. It's a Tuesday afternoon, just after 3:30, and as we said, time for Kids Connect, which is essentially a program which originated with the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, and we've been too often we have these situations of children being verbally, sexually, physically, and otherwise abused, and we engage in these discussions and conversations, and we're upset, we're angry, and we believe that certain actions need to be taken with respect to those who ill-treat our children. And so here we are again, and the issue back on the table after this most recent incident, which we have been talking about since yesterday, of allegedly, based on the information from the police, a child who was, for whatever reason, not eating fast enough as far as his stepfather was concerned. And according to the police, the stepfather whipped the child, the 4-year-old, and eventually the 4-year-old died. And so that's a matter. That's a major police matter right now. We don't necessarily want to judge that particular case or situation, but just to use the opportunity as a teachable moment for all of us as parents and guardians and just people in general and children, and some of the things we need to be mindful of. And so we're thankful that the Child Protection and Family Services Agency has been able to put us in touch with Ms. Raquel Remy, team leader for the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, in St. Anne. Good afternoon, Raquel Remy. Thank you for joining us. Hello? Right. Thank you for joining us. Your surname looks like a French name. Remy.
Yes, It is. It is.
I figured. But of course, it's okay to call you Remy, right? Raquel
Yes,
Remy. Good.
it's quite okay.
Right. So thank you once again. The circumstances notwithstanding, it's always painful to have to discuss these matters, but we have to keep these issues front and center with a hope of bringing down the number of abuses, instances of abuse, etc. What would you like to say to, or what would you say to parents and guardians who are listening to us right now and are still hell-bent on carrying out their kind of discipline, which invariably leads to the abuse of children? How do we get such parents to break out of that bad habit of abusing their own children?
Well, Dervan, that is a very, very good question. How do I speak to parents to help them to understand or to break the whole, how would I put it now?
The cultural
trend,
Yeah.
right, of corporal punishment. No, I just want to bring to the front first the dictionary's description of what corporal punishment is for persons to understand. That is actually a discipline method that is that causes physical pain to the child, and this is a deliberate thing that a parent or an adult may inflict physical pain to our children in response or trying to curb their behavior or their unacceptable behavior. Now, this has been a part of our Jamaican society from far back, long before your time, long before my time. And it is funny how just yesterday I was talking to a parent who would have mentioned that he was given lashes, he was beaten, and he's not saying that it was good, but he said that he didn't die. And that goes to show that sometimes we are so hell-bent in our ways that we do not look at the different sides of how is it affecting our children. We talk about crime and violence. Is it contributing to what is happening? Is it that we have this mentality that I must beat you into submission? And as such, it gives questions to spousal abuse. Where did our children learn these things from? Right? And I would want to say to parents that there are several different ways and means to discipline our children. Right? From time to time, we understand that our children pose behavioral problems. But I would want to tell parents that they are to seek information, see what is happening with your child. The child may be suffering from a disorder, something that the child is unable to control.
So it's something that I like. There's a term I learned some long time ago. Seek first to understand than to be understood. So if you are able to talk with that child, to reason with that child, to understand what is happening with that child, why the child is behaving the way he or she is, then you might be in a better position to help the child.
Very much so. Very much so. Because the children are here, they just want our guidance.
That's
they just
right.
want our guidance. But I must point out though,
Yes.
and it's the Jamaican saying, the old saying that you can't bend a tree when it is old, right?
Yes.
So I must point out to parents that we can't try to discipline our children when it is late. We have to start from the beginning. From the onset, from the child is months old, right? So if we teach that child that when I speak to you, this is what mommy or daddy means, and you this is to guide you, and you speak to the child, right? Not above the child.
Mm-hmm.
You speak to the child, so that you can get that child accustomed to speaking their mind or talking to you as a parent, so that you can tell them or guide them in acceptable behaviors. Because if you don't do that, and by the time the child reaches 12, 13, and that's the time you're trying to, in quote unquote, punish or try to curb the behavior, that will be too late.
Yeah. Too late. The other point now has to do with the general general approach that we should take, because you talk about bending the tree. from an early stage. Don't wait until the child gets what we would call out of hand before doing something. What are some of the positive ways in which we can enforce and endorse what is good behavior, what is acceptable behavior, and what is not? What are some of the things we can do as parents and guardians to help our children to understand what is acceptable behavior, what is not, what is good behavior, what is bad behavior, and talking with them about it?
Okay, all right. Based on my experience at the Child Protection and Family Services Agency through interaction with parents, in Jamaica, we tend to have a parent-centered approach, right? I'll advise parents that, and this leads to authoritarian approach, that type of parenting style, where what I say goes, and I am the parent, and I say X, Y, and Z, and the child must obey, rather than a child-centered approach, where you speak to your child, you get responses from your child that consider the child's needs and their perspective.
So if you give the child something to eat, for example, do you like it? How does it taste? Is it nice? Whatever. Just try and get the child. Don't just assume, that everything is okay.
Right, and that is so true, Dervan. So you speak to the child, see what is happening. Because the child, from an early age, you can teach the child how to make decisions, good decisions. So you as a parent can make the decision from before, and, for example, give the child options.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I know some parents may say that they don't have an option, and as such, the child has to abide. But then you can narrow it down, right? If the child does not like mackerel, so to speak, perhaps the child will just take the gravy, right? Because we have to consider also what is happening in the environment, what is happening in the home, right? So we say speak to your child, right? Boost the child's self-esteem, right? So kids start to develop their senses from babies. So in order to ensure that you are able to speak to your child, boost the child's self-esteem so the child can feel free to speak to you, to tell you what he or she is feeling.
Yeah,
right?
Hold it right there. Tell us some more in a moment. Listeners, if you're just tuning in, this is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. We're in the Kids Connect segment of the program. Our guest is Miss Raquel Remy. She's the team leader for the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, in St. Anne.
And we'll give him hope with each day.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. Power Talk has been a unique source of discourse on matters of public interest, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk brings you the new host who will take talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Croskill from Wednesday to Friday as they provide a riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for brand new features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's Dr. Herbert Gale Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Croskill Wednesday to Friday on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM.
Living in the positive. And a happy one, born with no misery, a child that's so full of fun and just as free as he wants to be, and we'll give him peace with all we can give, and we'll give him hope with each day we live, and our dream will be this world will see one child of love.
It's the Kids Connect segment of your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Our guest is Ms. Raquel Remy. She's team leader for the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, in the parish of St. Anne. And she has been sharing with us some of the ways in which we can show our children more love, even while we try to shape them and mold them in a way that is going to be beneficial to them and to everyone they come in contact with. And you were speaking about positive reinforcement. So when a child does something good or something right, make a big thing out of it. That's one sure way to ensure that which is likely to result in that child just keep doing the right thing, because the child loves the feeling that he or she gets when he or she does the right thing. Hello?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
Dervan. And that's exactly what we do. Catch your kids doing good, right? Instead of always talking about what they have done, focusing on the negative, catch them being good, right? So make it a point of duty to find something each day to praise the child about.
Yes.
Right.
What about those children now who maybe the child is a little reluctant, a little maybe showing some signs of fatigue? There's an expectation on the part of some of us parents and guardians that nothing not do you, come go to school, but headache, come get up and this and that. That's another problem, isn't it?
Yes, that's another problem. And we advise parents to make time for your kids. So sit the child down, hear what is happening. Because we can tell, we can tell when the child is fabricating the story. You can literally see physical signs if the child is ill.
Oh, yes.
Right. And what we ask that you set limits and set boundaries, make your rules and regulations, and that should include things that the child understands, so age appropriate limits, so that the child understands that, listen, if you tell me a lie that you're ill and you're not, this is the consequences of that.
Right.
And explain to the child, because at times parents tend to punish the child before you teach them. So we don't teach them what we are, don't tell them what we expect of them, but then we beat them. So we do it in the reverse.
Yeah.
So you do the punishment first, and then you tell the child of what your expectations are. So we encourage parents to talk to your child. Let the child understand your rules and regulations. As I said before, you can see physical signs if your child is not well.
Mm-hmm. And the
So
other,
you have to be able to sit them down and talk with them age appropriately.
The other thing is that children tend to be influenced, apart from their parents and guardians and close family members, they tend to be influenced by their peers. They spend a lot of time, for example, with their peers at school. Mind you, things have been a little different over the last couple of years due to COVID-19.
Right.
But for the most part, that tends to happen. So they seek validation from their classmates or schoolmates, and they do things because their friend is doing it, etc. Should we just allow that to continue where it is happening in an organic way in terms of children learning from each other, or is there scope for some kind of parents and children setting to perhaps meet? Oh, this is my best friend, mommy, and this is her her father or whoever. That kind of just knowing who your children are calling friends, for example.
Yes, very, very important that parents know their children's friends, know who they're associating with, right? So, for example, a parent who has to go out to work, you may find that they leave the child unsupervised, the child may be left next door, even though that parent may have certain values. That other parent may be a permissive parent, not holding all of those values that you have. So you have to ensure that you know where your children are at all times. Know their friends so that you can see what they are doing. See them in their environment. And of course, we have ways and means how we can encourage our children to, one, stand out and be a leader other than a follower. So we can start by being a good role model to your child. Your child will model your behavior, right? So that even when peer pressure comes, they will understand. Some of them may stray, but they will also understand that this is not what I am about. This is my value, right? So when the peer pressure comes, they'll be able to deal with that. As it relates to places where parents can access information, because, for example, you can go on Google and find information on parenting, right? So that you know how to parent your child. You can know how to parent your child with certain behaviors as well. So first and foremost, know your child's friends, right? Know where your child is going, know their parents, so that you can understand if they share the same values. And never stop teaching your child. We can't stray too far from the Bible either, Dervan.
Oh, yeah.
The Bible
No,
says,
the Bible is loaded with wisdom. Loaded.
right, train up a child in the way that he should go, right?
Yes.
So we have to remind our parents that they can use these things to help to guide your child. And if it's out of your control, the Child Protection and Family Services agencies, we are that agency who will assist parents. We have an arm of our agency that is called the Children and Family Support Unit. That unit is geared towards assisting parents, assisting children. So we do parent training and so forth. So once a parent wants more information, they can access that through our CFSU unit, which is the Children and Family Support Unit.
And what about children who they are in situations which make them uncomfortable, which amounts to abuse, for example? Is there a safe way in which these children could talk with somebody having to do with either the Child Protection and Family Services Agency or one of the support agencies which the CPFSA works with?
Well, yes, CPFSA, if a child finds themselves in a situation, they can self-report. So we have a National Children's Registry in which a child can call in and report their situation. An investigator will be assigned and that matter will be investigated and the best interest of the child will be upheld at that time, right? And I must say, though, we have in the making a contact line for which our children or parents can call in regarding abuse, things that are happening to them, and then it will be a direct line that we can assist them.
Oh, that is good. That is good because they a lot of them don't have the courage, and a lot of them are scared, and if they know that such a facility exists, then that would give them a little more comfort. So the Office of the Children's Registry, which is a part of the CPFSA.
Yes.
Is it that 80? I'd seen a number some time ago, an 888 number.
Well, that is our National Children's Registry number.
So that's the 888-776-8328 number.
Yes.
Right.
1888 protect.
Oh, that's what it translates to easily for ease of recall. 1888 protect. So that's a good number for you to know, children. 1888 protect. Now, what about those children who have been really traumatized, who whether by family members or outsiders, so to speak, what kind of support is available for these children, for example, through the Child Protection and Family Services Agency? What determines how you act and what you do and what you recommend and what actions you take?
All right. So a child who has been traumatized, as I said before, once that report comes to us through the National Children Registry, maybe a walk-in, an investigator will be assigned to that matter, right? And as I said, the best interest, according to the Child Care and Protection Act, we seek for the best interest of the child. So we seek intervention for that child. Psychological services through child guidance, because we have a very good working service partners.
Yes.
So we will refer that child, for example, to the child guidance clinic where they will be able to get psychological intervention. So if an assessment is needed, then they will get that there. And of course, we will ensure that the child gets, if there is any other social problems happening, for example, at home and so forth, and that child needs to be removed, that matter is placed before the court. So paramount, we ensure that they get the intervention, because if this child is traumatized, then something is happening probably in the home, within the home, or within the child. So we ensure that we find the root problem.
There's a tendency. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say there's a tendency on the part of some of us adults to say, them a picnic, them a grow it out, and a nothing, them a go grow it out. Is there such a thing as growing out whatever trauma or abuse that one has experienced?
No, we advise parents against that. At times, I'm not going to say that at times you won't have some children who are able to forget what happened to them, and as such it won't affect them. But more than likely, it will affect the child. Even if they don't remember now, perhaps they affect their relationships later on in life. When they become an adult, they're not able to deal with their feelings. So early intervention is key. So any mental illness, any illness at all, early intervention is key to ensure that that person overcomes.
And finally, how are things in your parish in St. Anne? You have responsibility on behalf of the Child Protection and Family Services Agency for the parish of St. Anne.
Yes, all right. So we have been in the news a few times as it relates to some matters of abuse with children. However, I must say to you that we have a strong working relationship with our stakeholders. So we have a strong relationship with the police. We have a strong relationship with SISOCA, which is the arm of the police that deals with child abuse. We have the National Council on Drug Abuse, and I don't want to go ahead and list all of them, but we have a very, very good working relationship. So we are working assiduously to ensure that our children are protected, especially in this time, COVID, where our parents are frustrated, children are at home, so they are more open to abuse. We have been in St. Anne, or in the Northeast region rather, we have been implementing some parenting series in communities, selective communities. We have gone to Golden Grove. We're now in Retreat St. Mary. We're going door to door to talk to our parents, because we realize that there is a correlation between child abuse, child neglect, and so forth with parenting. So we're going into the communities to empower parents, give them the information that they need to protect their children.
All right, hold it there. We're going to definitely wrap after the break. We want you to come back and share with us, remind us of 188 Protect and other ways in which the children and their families, the families in general, can get in touch with, stay in touch with, connect with the Child Protection and Family Services Agency as needed. One moment, please.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Tune in to Farm Talk, 6:18 to 6:35 a.m. the first Tuesday of every month, and 6:18 to 6:45 p.m. the last Tuesday of every month for FirstSan in the Field. Real issues, real solutions. Join the Newport FirstSan team in the field as they identify problems and tell you how to address them. FirstSan in the Field, Real Issues, Real Solutions is brought to you by Newport FirstSan Jamaica Limited, the first on the land.
That knows no war. That's what we live to see. That's what we're praying for. A healthy and a happy one, born with no misery. A child that's so full of fun and just as free as he wants to be, and we'll give him peace with all we can be.
Que ora es en espagnol, son las 4:01, quelle heure est-il en français, les 4:01. Science, TDN le, ce dien liang yi fen. A minute past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, a special extended edition of Kids Connect with our special guest, Ms. Raquel Remy. She is the team leader for the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, in the Garden Parish of St. Anne. As we wrap, Raquel Remy, let's make sure that our listeners at home and abroad have the requisite information as to where to turn when they need to connect for one reason or another with a Child Protection and Family Services agency. Mind you, there are those of us, for example, who know of children who are being abused, or it is obvious that they're being abused, and we take all kinds of positions. Me no business, yeah, but they pick it too bad too. And forget lick and talk like that. If we know of that and don't report the matter, we are in trouble, aren't we?
Yes, I must say that the Child Care and Protection Act speaks to that. That once you suspect that a child is being abused, then you must make a report, or you could be charged up to 6 months or $500,000.
That's a very, very serious offense for anybody to commit. So leave the contact details with us now for those of us who want to maybe keep the number in our phone or wherever else, just to make sure if we need to use it. And if we want to follow the work of the CPFSA, some of the social media pages that we need to go to.
Okay, all right. So if you need to make a report, then you can call our National Children's Registry at 1-888-PROTECT. That's 1-888-776-8328. If you have a Digicel, you can send a message, you can send email. We can be contacted at Digicel number 876-878-2882. You can send an email to report at childprotection.gov.jm. And of course, you can find us online on Facebook, Twitter, right? So you can find us at CPFSA. Well, let me ensure that I get that correct.
Right, I'll repeat the others.
Facebook at CPFSA.jm.
Okay.
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Right. And you did give us that Digicel number as well, 876-878-2882. That's 876-878-2882. And the 1-888-PROTECT number, 1-888-776-8328.
Very well. And we have another number as well, Dervan.
Sure. Go ahead.
We have, as I mentioned before in the process, but it's up and running, 211, where you can call to make reports, right? There is no cost from any network, whether Digicel or...
So that's specifically for the children?
Children can make reports as well as parents or adults.
Right. So children, parents, adults in general, a situation with anything that negatively impacting our children, anything that you're seeing and you know that is wrong and shouldn't be happening, 211 is another good number. 211, pretty easy to remember. 211, that's another number. Well, we want to thank you very much for the information you've been able to share with us this afternoon, Raquel Remy. We have learned a lot, and we're sure our listeners are much more aware, having you explain all that you have and the contact information included. Well done to you, and all the very best to the entire team at the Child Protection and Family Services Agency.
Thank you very much, Dervan, for having me. Always a pleasure.
Same here. All the best.
Okay.
Take care. Miss Raquel Remy, she's team leader for the Child Protection and Family Services Agency in the parish of St. Anne, as we take on the issue of how we've been treating or mistreating our children. Let's continue with more on, and that ends this week's edition of Kids Connect, special edition of Kids Connect here on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Hello to Velta Wilson from St. Thomas. Thank you very much for tuning in. Harlem Uptown says, I told you, Dervan, if it's not Lisa, it's not real power. PNP do the right thing. Where is Mama P? Please come out and take our party back so we can win the next election, says Harlem Uptown in New York. He has more to say. He says, well, he's changing subjects now. He says, Jamaicans, stop beating your kids. How an old man can lick a baby with their big hands like them fighting and fighting something or another. He should get life in prison. Sonia, well, like everybody else, Harlem Uptown, the individual will have his day in court. That's the way it is. Let's see how that goes. Sonia Ellis says, good afternoon, Dervan and everyone listening. To you too, Sonia Ellis. Harlem Uptown asks, why don't both parties, PNP and JLP, power against beating kids? 10 years in prison. I was beaten like crazy as a child, and that's why I'm not close to my mother, says Harlem Uptown in New York, originally from Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland. Sonia Ellis says, our problem is that when these tragic situations occur, we talk, we talk, we talk, and everywhere, everyone is talking. We make legislation, we make catchy jingles for advertisements, we take away the children from their home, but the most important things we don't do. We need to begin parenting classes for pregnant women and their partners, if they can be found, and their partner, if the partner can be found. It may be optional, but in some cases, it might have to be mandatory. Many of us, because of how we were brought up and because we did not grow up in a proper home, for lack of a better adjective, so we really do not have a clue how to parent. That's the perspective of Sonia Ellis. Harlem Uptown says, women in Jamaica take their personal problems out on their children in Jamaica. It's got to stop, he says. Kids will be kids, he says. They shouldn't be told to model parents' values. They are kids, please. So using the Bible on kids, it's 2021. No, but there are a lot of, as we said earlier on, Harlem Uptown, the Bible is loaded with a lot of wisdom, and it speaks in a very special way about the children as well. Suffer the little children to come unto me, and the little child shall lead them, etc., etc. Anyway, he goes on to say, please stop using religious beliefs to stop child abuse, because there are a lot of children who are molested in the church. Yeah, well, there's immorality in every single institution of socialization you can think of, Harlem Uptown. And where it is found, it must be ferreted out and dealt with. That's what needs to happen. So, as Bob Marley would say, I don't care who the guy is, whether pastor, police, politician, prisoner, whichever P, whatever the individual. If the individual is found to have abused a child, then the law must kick in. The action must be taken. Whatever action is taken, whatever action the system, whatever remedies the system prescribe, those must be enforced. Soldier in Massachusetts on WhatsApp says, greetings to one and all. Hope you're in good health, Sir D. Please tell young Chrisanne congratulations and keep up the good work. We accept on her behalf. Hope she's still listening. Miss Olive says, Dervan, you can drop some whites in mine. You're alone on the whites, Miss Olive. I hope you're not having too much, if any at all, of this whites of which you speak. Errol in Spanish Town says, hi, Dervan. So sorry to hear of the passing of Mr. Keith Brown. Condolences to his family. I remember him as a lover of music, oldies. Indeed, we once again join you in conveying condolences. Cuban in Georgia says, "Good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. I'm terribly upset and something with the Parliament of Jamaica. We must move a motion of order today to abolish the Queen as head of state of Jamaica immediately. Please and thanks." Well, if it could have been done just by stating it as you just did, then it would have been done. It would have been done. But both sides over the years have talked about it. They have debated it. They have promised that it will happen after the next election. And we're still waiting. Still waiting. Everybody says they're going to do it. We're going to do it once and for all. We are going to have our own system of government. And then nothing happens. Why? Because it is change. It's called change. And people who enjoy the pomp and the ceremony and everything that comes with that, they don't want to give that up. So you're asking people who enjoy all of that to give it up? No. And then there are those who might argue, well, what difference will it make? What difference will it make? And there are those who will come from the psychological standpoint and the socio-ethnological and take us back to the days of slavery as well, and why we should step away and walk away from the current system. But somebody has to do it. Who is going to bell the cat? No pun intended. It has to be done. Here is, where is it? Oh, an update on the rain has interrupted play in the first of 3 one-day internationals between the West Indies and Australia. So the match has been delayed by rain, but the West Indies keep picking up wickets. So they picked up 4 wickets. Australia scoring 124 for 4 of 27 of their 50 overs. That's a run rate of about 5 and over. And let's see what the scorecard looks like now. Josh Philippe bowled by Akil Hussain for 39. Ben McDermott caught Jason Holder off the bowling of Alzari Joseph for 28. We'll come back to the others in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
It's the summertime, and not only are our kids home, but with online school being mostly over, they are home and bored. But Bashco has great items to keep the kids busy while they are on summer vacation.
We have flashcards, activity books, coloring books, and great arts and crafts supplies to fit every need. And of course, toys! Yes, toys for girls and boys for both indoor and outdoor fun. So stop in and get what you and your kids need.
At Bashco, at 30 years, giving you more.
Battling life's storm is never easy. Insurance can be a hassle. Axia Jamaica Limited is your calm within the storm. They partner with you to cover your life the way you envisioned it. Axia Insurance for home, motor, life, property, and more. Forging new partnerships. Axia Jamaica Insurance Agency. Telephone 876-978-5906 or 876-978-4569.
Power Talk has been a unique source of discourse on matters of public interest, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk brings you the new host who will take talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Croskill from Wednesday to Friday as as they provide a riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for brand new features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's Dr. Herbert Gale Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Crosskill Wednesday to Friday on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM.
Living good, living in the positive. One is a healthy one, born with no misery.
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:17. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:17. 7. TDN le. CDN Stephen. 17 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. Yes, we know for the most part it is summertime, summer break, but there are those of you who still have to attend school, summer school, to help to close as much as is possible the learning gap which has been opened up by the onset of COVID-19. We want to encourage those sitting CSEC and CAPE exams and remind, well, just to say that we hope you get the results that you work for. Nothing more, nothing less, and to remind the children, this cohort, both for last year and this year, who would have sat and are sitting CSEC and CAPE exams, that you are a super special group of children, young people, to be able to still put yourself in that frame of mind of learning, of studying, of preparing, of practicing, and ultimately doing well under COVID-19 conditions. It's only the generations from last year onwards, well, depends on how long COVID-19 goes on for, who can say they would have operated under COVID-19 conditions. They would have learned, they would have undergone their schooling or significant portions of their schooling in a time of COVID-19. That is significant. And we're very proud of you, young people, and we want to wish you all the very best going forward. To the Peppers, as in the PEP students, those of you who will be going to what they call big school come September, we wish you all the best, and we trust that you will grow wherever you're planted come September. All the best, young people. As we always say, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Play has resumed in the first of 3 one-day internationals between the West Indies and Australia, being played in Bridgetown, Barbados. Australia 128 for 4 in the 29th over. And we'll see how that all unfolds. Let's see. And there's a story, there's an update on the child who was beaten for eating slowly. There's an update. Let's bring that up. The Jamaica is reporting that the stepdad in beating of 4-year-old has been charged. The stepfather accused of beating 4-year-old Nashawn Brown, who died in the hospital, has been charged with unlawful wounding, assault occasioning actual bodily harm, cruelty to a child, and child abuse. He is to appear in the St. Catherine Parish Court in Spanish Town on July 27. Nashon died Sunday after he was allegedly beaten with a stick by the stepfather, who has been identified as 24-year-old Sean D. Bennett. It was reported that the child's mother was also beaten badly after she tried to stop the attack on the boy. She was admitted to hospital and was yesterday receiving treatment for injuries sustained. What a tragedy. Let's go to the phone lines. 876-365-3346. The text line and the WhatsApp number are one and the same. 876-365-3346. The regular lines, 876-922-4112-5. Glenn is calling us back. Hello, Glenn.
Earlier on you mentioned something about bay rum.
Yes.
Understand that it is alcohol with an extract from the bay leaves of the tree of the from the leaves of the bay tree.
Yes.
Understand alcohol with an extract from the leaves of the bay tree. And you also understand that the bay tree is another name for the laurel tree.
Oh.
And the laurel, well, the original Olympics, the crown, instead of medals, in those days, they gave them a crown made of, plaited from laurel leaves.
Hence the expression, don't rest on your laurels.
Right.
In terms of your
like
achievements.
Laureate.
Mm-hmm. Poet
Yes,
laureate.
as an honor.
Yes.
Yes, so that's what I came. Yeah, I'm not so sure if it's just by dissolving, by just putting the leaves in the alcohol or what, but I think it's an extract from a bay tree. I think it's in Jamaica. I think that tree is in Jamaica.
I see. Well,
Okay, bye
thank
for
you.
now.
Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876 922-4112-5. 876 922-112-5. And the WhatsApp line, same as the text line, 876-365-3346. Let's go back to the WhatsApp line. Somebody saying, and Keith was a very good dancer too, in reference to the late Keith Brown. Thanks for sharing that. Another one, Sir Malcolm, this cat must be bailed immediately. Question, what are they working on in Parliament, sir? Please and thanks. I want to know the work of Parliament on a serious matter of importance with regard to 400 years of slavery and the perpetrators of this cruel act against humanity and black people has denied this crime. So what action we the people must take up now? Whatever action that needs to be taken, there is some action that has been taken. There's what is called a reparations committee or some similar body with a view to seek some remedy from the impact of the operations of countries like England on Jamaica. We are always curious to find out, though, how it is that the slavery that happened in Jamaica was actually started by the Spanish. But we say nothing about the Spanish. It's all about the English. We always wonder about that because the first group of African slaves was brought to Jamaica. What was the year now? I have so many numbers to remember. But this was 15 Was it 15? Hold on. I think 1509 was when we had the first Spanish governor of Jamaica. That was Esquivel, Juan de Esquivel, I believe. That was 1509 when Spain started governing Jamaica. And I believe the first group of African slaves was brought to Jamaica back in 1513. I think it was 4 years later, 1513. But again, we talk a lot about England. And yes, England played a big part in the slave trade. There's no question about that. But I'm just wondering, why is it we hardly ever mention the Spanish? Why don't we also seek reparations from the Spanish? Nobody is mentioning the Spanish. I wonder if those who have been a part of the reparation movement in the Caribbean, if they would kindly tell us why they don't ask Spain for reparations, why it's only England. Just curious to find out. We've been asking that question for some time ago. For some time now, we've been asking that question. Just as how we are asking about Professor, what's he? Sir Hilary Beckles. Now, if you are shedding colonial ties and getting at the colonial masters, then why do you still keep the title of Sir, the knighthood? Why wouldn't you shed that as well? So you are Sir Hilary Beckles, and you are leading the reparations movement, and you have been knighted by the Queen and all of that. So if you're going to shed the remnants of colonialism, wouldn't that Sir, that being knighted by the Queen, wouldn't that go as well? I'm just asking. So there are some contradictions in terms and in reality. We have to decide. Again, to make the point earlier on, the point that was made earlier on about every year we say we're going, every other election, we're going to abolish the Queen, and we're going to have our own Republican system of government or whatever it is. And we're going to have a president and this and that, and nothing happens. And as we were saying earlier on, there's something about the pomp and the ceremony. And maybe that is why, even though one is spouting reparations and everything else, one is still holding on to the title of Sir, the knighthood. So it is. Let's see for how much longer that will continue. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30. Give your construction projects a solid start with top quality Jamaican-made building materials from Arc Manufacturing Limited. We deliver all your roofing nails, lumber, fencing, wire, and steel products island-wide. Call or visit any of our locations in Kingston and Montego Bay, or check out our website at www.arcja.com. Arc Manufacturing Limited, your building materials specialist.
Jamaicans and donors at home and abroad. The Jamaica Customs Agency is cognizant that the speedy clearance of humanitarian aid in times of disaster is crucial. Join us and other border regulatory agencies for a virtual public forum in our CCC series. Click, connect, and converse with Customs. Thursday, July 29, 2021 from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. under the theme JCA and BRAs, facilitating efficient and effective clearance during national disasters. That's a virtual public forum on clearing humanitarian aid, Thursday, July 29 from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Visit www.jacustoms.gov.jm to register and to participate. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
So full of love and just as free as he wants to be, and we'll give him peace. with all we can give, and we'll give Him all with each day we live. And our dream will be, this world will see one child of love. One child of love.
Que ahora es en español, son las 5:28. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:28. Hiện tại, thì điện là 5:28. 28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Here's a text message on our text line, 876-365-3346. Good day, Dervan. Children's Advocacy Group, please try and do more in protecting the children. We live in an abusive society, and the children are the most vulnerable. Please do more on the ground. Thank you very much for your message. And let's go to a caller, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I've been listening to you, and you have been touching some really good points. Very, very good point. One of the things with most of our politicians within the Caribbean, they're pretty coward. Very coward. So they will talk about a lot of things, but they will not do it. Just trying to trick the people. And they have been doing this for years because...
Well, I always like to say, nobody can trick you without your permission, though.
Yeah, because, with what you are saying about the reformation with slavery, you're right, it was the Spanish first, and that slave was, the English, they were the last set of people that really went into slavery, But
Yeah.
it was the Spaniards and the French and the Dutch and all those people, the Italian, they were before the English,
Yeah.
So it is the Spaniard and the English we should really look reformation from.
Yeah, I just find it strange that I've hardly ever, in fact, I've never heard, with all the interviews I've listened to and the discussions and the conversations, I've never heard, and people from the reparations committee and this and that, never heard anything about the Spanish.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. This was to be both of them because I don't know if I quietly remember this. Remember, the Spaniard went into Congo, and I think it was 1912, and they murdered a whole lot of people.
1912 sounds a little late, though.
Is 1812. I don't quite
1912
remember.
was the year Ward Theatre was built and Calabar High School was also established in 1912.
I don't remember the king that went down there into Congo and murdered a lot of people there, man. What is his name? So the Spaniards, and we can't left the Spaniards out because both of them were brutal to black people during slavery.
Yes.
Very brutal.
Yes, that's something that the people, those who are involved in the call for reparations and actions for reparations, need to answer to. We need to know why they have left the Spanish out of their demands for reparation.
Yeah, it's both of them. And secondly, that gentleman the other day that beat his stepson to death.
Sunday, yes, he has now been charged.
I do believe that something is definitely wrong with our young men in Jamaica. And I've said this for about 20 odd years. I've been saying it. You see, most of our young men, not all of them, most of our young men are, they smoke a lot of marijuana. Most of our young men. And
Most or a significant, let's just say a number of them or a significant number of them.
A number of them.
I mean, we see it every day. They're on the bikes with the spliff in the corner of the mouth, and they're on the corners, trying to bore a hole in the palm of their hands. So it's become quite prevalent ever since the piece of legislation in Parliament.
Yes. You're a very smart man. You see, when they passed that law, the mistake that they made is that marijuana should not be smoked within the public, because I don't smoke and I don't drink.
But this is a society that, again, smoking was banned in public places, or is supposed to be banned in public places in Jamaica. Yet we still see people smoking in public places in Jamaica. So there's a lack of enforcement there. If Dr. Fenton Ferguson didn't do anything else, surely that was one thing that he was instrumental in, because for years they'd been trying to get that ban, and he was able to play his part in that regard.
I don't want the listeners to really get me wrong. I have absolutely nothing with marijuana, and I in my view, I rather to see people smoke a spliff than drink rum, because I've never seen a man smoke spliff and went home and beat his wife. But I've seen man drink rum.
All of that is anecdotal, but
I've seen man drink rum and go home and beat their wives. But what I'm simply saying, marijuana smoking should be banned from the public space. I don't like smell it.
But smoking in general that's the point I'm making. The smoking in general is supposed to be banned, and don't even talk about the smell. Because I talked about that on this program some time ago to say, I don't know what they're smoking. It smells awful. It smells really awful, whatever they're smoking.
You see, people need to understand this. I am from Jamaica, and I love Jamaica, and I love Jamaica culture. But I don't listen to every music in Jamaica, because some of them is not music.
Well, music is music, but it becomes problematic when you add lyrical content that is less than palatable. It then becomes a baboonous cacophony.
You're right. Because, as I said, I listen to music, but I don't listen to all music. Just like I don't have anything with people smoking, but I hate to see people in public smoking, because I don't like smell the smoke from the cigar that they are smoking, or the marijuana. I don't like to smell it. And I can guarantee you that there are hundreds of people who don't like it, but some are fearful to really say anything. And I think the government need to look into it. I think our young people have lost their way, especially the young men.
And the problem with the passage of that ganja legislation some years ago, it wasn't properly rolled out. No pun intended. That's a big problem. It wasn't properly rolled out. The public education, I think I remember Ronnie Thwaites might have talked about it as well. The public education was zero. It's now that you hear them running public education, good ganja sense, whatever. That's years later.
Because the intent of the legalization of the marijuana was for political gain.
Without a doubt, that would have been part of it. There's no question about that.
That would have been part of it.
Yes.
And you know these politicians, I don't know, some of them I don't understand why is it that they went into politics, because most of them, they have done more harm to Jamaica than good.
Sadly, yes.
And it's
some of them. I don't know about most, but some of them.
It's hurt so bad. Jamaica is such a great country. I was reading some paper, because I read a lot of foreign news and stuff like that. And every single paper that I take up and read, as a Jamaican making their mark in foreign country. The last one I read about was this lady in Canada, this black Jamaican lady. And all over the world, Jamaica is making. Jamaicans are such great people, and we cannot afford to make the few bad people destroy the country.
Well said. Thank you very much for the call.
Thank you very much, sir, for having me.
All the best. Please call again. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Yes, first-time caller, returning resident. I just want to...
Thanks for calling. Welcome. Go ahead, please.
Yes, the gentleman that was on for me was saying that the Spanish colonized or killed some people in the Congo.
Yes.
And that was King Leopold from Belgium killed 10 million Congolese for not making the rubber, chop off their arm.
Ouch.
And the second thing is regarding the British and the Spanish reparation. This British was the longest reigning empire, one. Two, the Spanish took the people from Spain, not from Africa. And the people that they brought were Jews, black Jews.
But the history shows that the Spanish who were occupying Jamaica at the time, they well, I don't want to go through the whole story, but essentially the first group of African slaves was brought to Jamaica in 1513.
Yes, from Spain. And some were brought from Portugal to Brazil. They were black Jews from Spain and Portugal. You go back and look at the books written from the 15, 16. If you go to Spain right now and Portugal, you see the history there.
No, this is not. I didn't write it. I didn't write it. If you go to Civil Heritage Park, it's there. In their walk-in museum, it is there. It is a fact. Why are people excusing the Spanish? That's like saying, England kill the Spanish only kill some people. England kill a whole heap more people.
We're not excusing it. But if you look at the Portuguese started the slave trade for long before the Spain started, and then the British were the longest, but they were the last one. I think like anything else, because they were the last and the longest. People look to them, and we also under them. We're not under the Spanish. We're under the English. We're still colonized by the English. So if you're going to look to anyone, you look to the British.
Yes. So and absolve the Spanish?
No, you have to include them too.
But this is the question we're asking: Why aren't those who are calling for reparation and who are meeting and debating and discussing and so on? Why aren't they including the Spanish?
Well, I think because the British took over. Well, we have to look at it in perspective. The British took over from the Spanish, and we're still under them. So most likely we'll learn about the colonization from right up to 62 with them. So of course we're going to talk more about the British, not to exclude the Spanish, but I mean that's like a long distance thing with the Spanish.
Well, what is going to stop people from saying all this talk about Britain and slavery? That's a long distant memory. That's 300 years.
No, we're still colonized by the British. As much as we get the independence, our education, they taught us how to think. We read their books, their history, their story. Everything, our life revolves around the British.
I don't know about our lives revolving around the British.
Oh, gosh.
That's a strong statement.
Look,
I don't know about it revolving around the British.
If we stop and think, all the education that we get is from them. Our culture, the way we think. Why do people try to straighten their hair and be just skin looking like a white man? Because we're brainwashed into thinking like them.
Why
we don't want to accept.
Why aren't all of us doing that? One moment, please.
As he wants to be, then we'll give him peace with all we can be.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. The National Irrigation Commission Limited NIC is reminding the public that bathing, swimming, washing of clothes and motor vehicles is prohibited at their canals, dams and reservoirs. In fact, trespassing on the irrigation infrastructure is punishable by law under the Irrigation Act. A message from the National Irrigation Commission Limited. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture. Power Talk has been a unique source of discourse on matters of public interest, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk brings you the new host who will take talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Crosskill from Wednesday to Friday as they provide a riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for brand and new features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's Dr. Herbert Gale Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Crossgill Wednesday to Friday on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM.
Living in the positive.
The preceding hurricane tip was brought to you by Axia Jamaica Insurance Agency.
Que ora es en espagnol. Son las 5:13. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:13. 现在几点了？4点5点加13分。13 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Thanks for holding. Why aren't all of us bleaching and doing all the other things, straightening our hair and everything else? Why?
Okay. Some may not do that, but
why?
The chains are off our hands and our neck, but it's on our mind. For example, the other day...
But not all of us.
Not all of us. So some may bleach and some may cream there, but some are our mind. Let me give you an example. The other day, the student went to school to take his exam. So what the teacher, they punished them because he didn't look like a European. His hair was not groomed the way they were taught to groom like European. Our dressing, the way our donors said, it's all the European mindset that they taught us. When people talk about the Queen's English, you don't see a certain way. It's on our mind. So one may do this, but all are under the colonization. And a few of us.
Well, that's not limited to Jamaica. That's globally.
This is globally. Because
this country of a country of about 40 million people colonizing the world.
But we're far removed from our foreparents that are under slavery that didn't have a choice. We who are able to read and write and research should be able to ease ourselves out of that mindset. But I find the more educated people are in the system, is the more they hold on to that British Eurocentric type of thinking. I don't know if Jamaica ever gone to Egypt. Go and take a look at the walls of Egypt and look at the slaves that were in Egypt during after the children of Israel were under bondage. And look at the wall. You're going to see dreadlock slaves, we their women, but most of us don't go, so we want to buy into the white Jesus, the white Moses.
And you need to organize some trips for us to Egypt, man.
Look, we all have money. A lot of us.
We all have money.
Look,
you're sure about that?
Oh yeah, we run to England, we run to America, we run to Canada, but we'll never go to Africa.
How much did it cost you to go to Egypt?
Look, we can, if we want to, we can do it.
No, I'm curious. I'm just asking.
It is expensive. It is expensive. Trust me, it is expensive. But I was living in Canada for 30 years. But what I'm saying, most of us, even if we have the choice, will not do it. We prefer to go to England, America, and the white man's country.
I don't know about most of us. I'd love to visit Egypt.
We go to China too, because now China is the next empire rising. What I'm saying, because of our colonization of our mind, we don't free ourselves from this. And we always try to aspire to reach up to that level of the white man. And we have to really take a...
Is it just purely the white man or established standards? For example, I listen... When I want to hear English spoken the way English is supposed to be spoken, I listen to the BBC.
Oh, okay, we would do. If you watch us, listen to Swahili or some other African language, some other African language. We are from Africa based on our history, even though a lot of us are not from there. We came from Africa and brought the Caribbean and America. But alas, I'm telling you, most of us that came to the Caribbean during the slavery are from Israel. And if you go to Egypt and if you go to Spain and Portugal, you will see all that history. Christopher, when you go to Ottomani in Trelawney, 2010, I came and I went there. And the lady was giving the history. A lot of the original black line Nanny and those were brought from Spain by Columbus.
Nanny was brought from Spain?
Look, where she came from.
That's what you're saying?
I said, before the British came, all those slaves that were here, Christopher Columbus brought them from Spain. Is there,
I thought I heard you mention Nanny.
Huh?
I thought I heard you mention Nanny.
So hold on, where Nanny and all those original people came from? When the British came, they were here. That's why they were signed treaty with them. They signed treaty with them because they were here before. They came with the British. They came with Christopher Columbus from Spain. The Portuguese took a lot to Brazil from Spain and from Portugal long before the British started.
So where are the Spanish? Where are this? What happened to the Spanish slaves?
Where are they?
Yes, what happened to them?
Where a lot of them are still here.
Really?
They're not here. Where are they?
Where? I'm asking.
Well, I can answer. Where are if they call Arawaks and Carib and Mare? Those are black people that were here. And if you go to Suriname, still see the Arawak down there, black jet like anything like this.
They're in Guyana as well.
Yeah. So there weren't any Arawak and Indian that they talk about. They didn't want us to know that these people were here long before, but they were black. What they call Arawak.
No, but nobody can hide that. The history shows that these people were here long before. The Tainos, when we went to school, they told us Arawaks, and subsequently they changed it to Tainos.
Yeah, but they think that they were actually Indians looking like the North American Indian.
Yeah, but you also went on to mention the languages about Swahili. Do you know how many languages are spoken in Nigeria?
I think quite a few. Yeah, the Igbo and the
not quite a few.
Quite a few.
Let me help you. 525.
Okay, that's fine.
525 native languages spoken in Nigeria.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, most black people, because we are so used to, we never want to know any of those languages. Some of us, if we have the choice now to even go, I'm trying to do the mindset.
Thanks to England.
What are you thanking them for?
Thanks to England, English is the international language of business.
It become the international language of business. Which is one of the last languages spoken that were created. So what were we thanking them for? Because they colonize the world and control the world?
That's an expression, You don't know that expression, thanks to so and so. It doesn't necessarily mean you're saying thanks to them. You're just making the point. Thanks to England, the English is the international language of business. That's just a fact.
Well, that's true. But what I find, at least I sit back sometimes to read and I realize that a lot of us, we know the history that were taught to us through the English. But beyond that, beyond slavery, a lot of us don't know the English. A lot of us don't know where we came from. They only told us that we came from Africa. It's not true. They were brought from Africa, but where we were before we were in Africa? We're in Israel. That's where. And those books, if you want to buy one of those books, it's $60,000 US. You can go online and look at the book them. They're all there.
But clearly they're trying to hide something from people if they're selling them at $60,000 US.
Exactly. Same like how they tell us not to read the book of the Maccabees. And when you I have 3 copies, when you read it, you realize they're not in there to be afraid of. It's the history of the Hebrew Israelites in Maccabees and how they conquered the Greeks. And they don't want us to know that. Most people talk about the 4th prophecy of Daniel. And if you look at the 6 books of the Bible, where is the Greek in the Bible? It's not there. The Greeks, which Daniel prophesied, were one of the beasts. We have the Roman in Matthew and after that. But where's the Greeks that came before them in the 66 books? It's not there because they're hiding it from us. Don't want to know what happens with the Maccabees. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of stuff we don't know. And some of us are afraid to go outside of what we're taught in school, by our parents, by the pastor, by history. But the Bible says in the last days, knowledge shall increase, and this is the time. There are so many books that are coming out now through the internet, and if you have the opportunity to travel, go to Ethiopia, go to Egypt, and all those places. History is there, written in stone. But anyway, I don't want to take up any more of the time. I will call back again.
No, thank you very much for calling. Please call again.
I used to listen to you while I was in Canada, but it was hard to call. Now that I'm back home, I'll call more time and give my 2 cents.
We look forward to that. Thanks a lot. All the best.
All right, thanks.
Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls. Oh, well, do we have time for more calls? No, we have to wrap. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Tuesday, the 20th of July, 2021. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
He wants to be, and we'll give him peace with all we can give, and we'll give him all with each day we live. And our dream will be, this world will see one child of love, one child of love, love that is deep and true, makes life so precious too. And when love means more with time, we'll conquer all, and we'll make each climb. And all we want is a healthy one, born with no misery, a child that's so full of love and just as free as he wants to be. And we'll give him peace with all we can give, and we'll give him all with each day we live. Our dream will, this world will see one child of love. Let it be, let it be, yeah. One child that's born, one baby that knows no wrong. That's what we live. That's what we live to see. That's what we're praying. That's what we're praying for. A healthy Lord, a happy one, born with no misery, a child that's so full of love and just as free as he wants to be. And we'll give him peace with all we can give, and we'll give him all with each day we live. And our dream will be, this world will see one child of love. Yes, sir. One child of love.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.